As you can see, I've switched the camera angles about. I figured I'd put my Eeyore onesie on again just to get the full benefit. One thing you guys wouldn't have seen last week is the little tail, which is buttoned on. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that it's all there. So yeah, anyway, like I said, thanks for joining. We're going to be doing gingerbread biscuits again. Only this time we'll just do the one shape, and I'm not going to try and make them look pretty because it's not Halloween anymore, so we don't need to make Halloween figures. So yeah, here goes. So as with last week, I've already weighed out the butter, 140 grams, which I will dump into the saucepan. And then turn the hob on, ready to melt it. And now I need to weigh out the other stuff to go in, which is the sugar and golden syrup. So if I grab a little ball, I need 100 grams of dark muscovado sugar, which I shall weigh. Yeah, I do hope this is better than last week. Hopefully it is, and I'll just upload this when I can to my YouTube channel, which you can access through my Twitch channel. There's a link on there. Feel free to go over there, give me a subscribe, and I will endeavour to do more and more of this sort of thing and put on there. So there we go. There's 100 grams of dark muscovado sugar, which I'll tip in with the butter. That nearly went everywhere. Yep, that's heating up. And 3 tablespoons of golden syrup. So let's get that in there as well. Golden syrup is a pain. 1. I know it's just off camera. 2. And a 3. In testing, the sound sounded better as well. The mic sounded a bit clearer and less, less problematic. So there we go. Just need to wait for that to melt now and dissolve in, and it will be one homogeneous mess of gloop. So whilst that's doing, what we'll do, we'll weigh out the other stuff, which is starting with plain flour. It's 350 grams of plain flour. Zero, come on. There we go, 350 grams. So this is basically going to be all the dry ingredients. Yeah, I took some feedback from last week, which was to switch the cameras so you got the bigger of the baking area and the smaller of the ugliness. Thank you for the follow.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, just come in. Yeah. Bokutanorin? Is that right? I think I may have said that right. Hopefully. I apologise if I butchered it. I'm having trouble speaking today. Let's get some coffee. So, to go with that flour, we need a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Not as I nearly did last week, which is a tablespoon. As long as I can get the lid off. There we go. Teaspoon in here. So yeah, thank you for the follow. It was greatly appreciated. So 1 teaspoon of bicarb of soda, which will go in. Then 2 of the ground ginger. Whew. Yeah, I've stuck to a nice simple recipe just as my first and, well, as my second baking stream as well, just so I can get used to it, and then hopefully I can crank it up from there. And I want 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. When I put this up on YouTube, I will put the recipe up in the comments, not in the comments, in the description with it. So there we go. There's that. The butter I can see is melting nicely. And that is that for the dry ingredients. So let's turn this heat down. I don't want the butter burning. Still not quite homogeneous. So I hope everyone's having a good weekend. And yeah, is prepared for the week ahead. I think I will take the hood down a bit. Oh, sorry, cut the glare off the dome. That, I think, is done now. So I can turn that off. I already have the oven on. So yeah, as you can see, hopefully, bring it in. Butter, sugar and syrup is all mixed in. So I'll tip that in with the powders. Don't know why I've still got it on the balance. And then put that in so it doesn't set in there. Ooh, I know one thing I've forgotten to do, which is chop up my ginger, stem ginger. Let's get that out of the jar. And here we are. So this is the dangerous bit. Unfortunately, I don't have a responsible adult to do this for me, so I have to try not to chop my own fingers off. There we go. That's them all chopped up, ready to go in. Now I just need to mix it all together. Then let it cool. Then I can roll it out, put it in the oven. Bake it, and Bob's your uncle. Right, so now combine it all together. I will put it in the fridge again for a few minutes once it's combined, because obviously it rolls out as as I found out last week. It rolls a lot better once it's cool because it holds together. Problem I have when it comes to making things like this and pastry is that my hands are naturally very warm, and that does not bode well for this sort of thing and pastry, because the butter obviously needs to set a bit to help it keep together, and when you're handling it with warm hands it just remelts the butter. So scrape all of that off the spoon. Let's put that in the fridge for a bit to cool. Let's see. The bowl's getting cold. If nothing else, the bowl is getting cold. Yeah, I can give that a go now. So let's dust the work surface down with a bit of plain flour. I say a bit, quite a lot of plain flour. Let's move that back out of the way. Dump the mixture on there. Now let's dust the rolling pin down in the hopes that it doesn't all stick. Be a bit gentle. As you can see, as it cools down more and more, well, you may not be able to see on there, it may not be clear enough, but it'll just be a smoother, with less cracks in it as you roll it. It's actually holding together quite well today. That'll do. That is holding together a lot better than it did last week. Let's put that over in the sink. Let's get the first baking sheet ready. All I've done is just put some greaseproof paper on top. Simple. Don't need to do anything special. Just a sheet of greaseproof paper. I need the palette knife as well to help pick it up. There it is. Where it's still a bit warm, it does make it a bit harder to pick up, but at least it's all staying together. See how many I can fit on this sheet. So, there we have all the biscuits ready to go in the oven. And fortunately, they cook pretty quickly. It's about 10 to 12 minutes in the oven. Obviously that is an oven preheated to 200 degrees C. I need to make... Where did I put... there's the jug. I need to make the icing that I'm going to drizzle over the top. I wish I'd stop moving things. There we go. So, for the icing, let's do 75 grams of sugar and then just dilute it down with water. That overshot a bit. It's like a smoke machine, dry ice. I mean, you'll notice that I'm not sieving things before I put them in. I find they tend to be fine these days. They don't clump so much. Obviously, if you've kept it in a cupboard where it's got damp, even if it is just a little bit of humidity in there, then it can be an issue. So, then basically all you do is you guesstimate the water. You can always add a little bit more or a bit more sugar if, like has happened there, it's too watery. Oh, time to get them out of the oven, I think. And they have spread a bit further than I thought they would. There we go. There we go. So yeah, you'll find when you do biscuits like this, when you take them straight out of the oven, they are very soft. Which is why you leave them to cool. And things will carry on cooking for a little bit after the oven as well, because obviously it's so hot in the oven. They get so hot. So if you're doing a cake and the way you test to see if it's cooked is by putting a knife through the centre. If there's a little bit stuck to the knife, you should be fine, because it'll carry on baking on the inside and that'll firm up and it won't be too dry. So yeah, as you can see, soft, very warm. Let's spread them out a bit so they have some room to breathe. Let's turn it that way because then you can see it under the laptop. And the people at work should be quite happy tomorrow with a few biscuits to tide them through the day. So we'll let them cool for a bit, but then I'll drizzle the icing on whilst they're still warm, because that'll help the icing set. And that's a good tip for lemon drizzle cake as well. Make up the drizzle whilst it's in the oven. Get the cake out of the oven when it's cooked. Prick it with a fork or a skewer or something all over, and then pour the drizzle, because then the heat will make the sugar crystals form on the outside, which will just give it a nice little, almost like a crunch as you cut through it. Look at me making it sound like I know what I'm doing. That I think is where there was some of the flour left on the surface of the biscuit when it went in. So it's just, but basically the flour's just cooked on top. So from the unit when I was rolling in the rolling pin. Yeah. Or maybe it's a bit of butter. I think, yeah, it's looking like it could be the flour. So how warm is it? Still very warm. So what we do, we try drizzling. See how that goes? It may go a bit transparent with the heat. There we go. Probably would have been better with a piping bag to just drizzle it on. But each one will be unique. No two will be alike. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. Yeah, missed the jug then with the spoon. So yeah, you can see they're starting to go a bit transparent where they're still a bit too hot really to be doing this, but they'll do. They'll still taste the same. I wish I was artistic and I could make things look like they should when it comes to doing things like this. It'd be so much more impressive for you guys to watch than just the mess of icing being dribbled across the surface. But sadly, that wasn't one of my gifts in life. With all the icing that's been wasted, it looks like this is going to be just about enough. That's the thing, I suppose I could argue that I am very artistic. You guys just don't appreciate my style of art, and it's wasted on you, so... So yeah, that, I put in exactly the right amount of water for the amount of icing I needed to do. Perfect. See, I knew what I was doing. And this kind of ties into the theme of my baking channel, which is to show that baking can be really simple and you shouldn't be intimidated. Okay, some people, again, it just like me with art, some people it just doesn't work for. but yeah, nothing to be intimidated by a lot of the baking. Start simple. I did cakes, basic sponge cakes, really easy. So let's bring the camera down so you can like the sculptors of old using marble. So yeah, see, no two are the same. If they taste like they did last time, oh, my weight loss isn't going to go very well. There we go. So, there you have it, people.